What you're about to listen to is a Bry-Fy production.
Yo, it's Bry-Fy coming live through your Wi-Fi. One-man show, but I'm feeling like a sci-fi. Comic books, video games, catching them all. Pokemon cards stacked, yeah, I'm ready to brawl. From Marvel to DC, I break it all down. Nifty nerd news, got the geeky rundown. Pop culture hits, movies and shows. I stay in the know while the fandom grows. So plug in, tune up, press play, let's ride. This is the Bry-Fy, baby, welcome to the vibe.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Bry-Fy Podcast. I'm your host, Bry-Fy, your comics guy, and we've missed a week, but I'm back. You know, it's the holidays. I've explained this to you guys. I'm all over the place, and so I'm trying to give you guys some episodes, something to just say hi, and hopefully you guys enjoy or whatever. And but I'm split, man. I'm torn between so many things, and I love y'all, but I also love my family a lot more. That being said, though, I got a really short episode for you guys this week. Hopefully y'all enjoy it, and then we'll get out of your hair. I do have a movie to review for you guys. I actually got to watch a movie, and you know what, I'll just tell you now, I watched the Wicked for Good movie, so the second Wicked movie. I'll talk a little bit about that, try not to spoil too much for you guys, but anywho, let's move on to some nifty nerd news. Alright guys, so up first in the nifty nerd news, sorry, I'm looking down at my phone while driving, because, you know, I'm the pinnacle of safety. No. Because I gotta remember what the heck I wanted to talk about, so I have to at least reference what I want. But oh yeah, big thing. I haven't really talked about it yet. So Warner Brothers is for sale, and it looks like Netflix is the major want to be the buyer. And I don't know how I feel about this, man. On the one hand, there is a lot of Netflix programming that I do enjoy. On the other hand, I don't like monopolies. And I guess Netflix is a new contender, right? But at the same time, you're getting rid of Warner Brothers, which was a big contender, and now it's being bought out by Netflix. So Netflix, those video games like the Snake IO and Hole IO and whatever, you start out as a little thing and you try to eat bigger and bigger things, and then you become the giant monster that eats all things. That's what Netflix is doing, right? It's like playing corporate IO, and it's just buying up all these companies to where it will eventually become the super company that just owns everything. Like I said, I do enjoy some Netflix programming. Don't get me wrong, they make some good stuff. I've been watching the new season of Stranger Things and really enjoying it, but I'm concerned giving them, but then who knows, maybe giving them DC, but DC has kind of gone on the up and up, with the new Superman that I haven't watched but I've heard only great things about. Things could only be getting better, right? I don't know, but it's kind of weird, man. It's kind of weird to see WB being sold. So, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Up next in the Nifty Nerd News, moving to the comic book side, artist and co-original creator of Miles Morales Spider-Man, Sarah Pichelli, was in an interview where she kind of jokingly mentioned I don't get anything residuals or anything from movies and cartoons that her character that she helped create is in, and that caused a lot of outrage. I know she has posted on her own saying look, man, that was kind of taken a little bit out of context because we were in a more lighthearted setting and in a more joking manner, but she never denied that, yeah, I don't get any kind of kickback for the character that I helped create, which, has been a big issue. We talk about Bill Finger, all the guys who did all the OGs, the Batmans, the Supermans, the Captain Marvels and all that. Well, I mean, I guess Stan Lee was a part of all those, so he got his comeuppance. But like, you know, like big, like Superman was like a big one, and like Batman and all that, where these guys who created these characters way back 40s, 50s, 30s weren't getting any kind of, I don't want to say recognition. They were getting recognition, but they weren't getting anything of monetary value for these characters that their companies were then using to make even more money. And it's kind of sad, though, you know, because like I get maybe Sarah Pichelli's in a different situation, but it doesn't really change the fact that a lot of people who go on to write very popular characters for Marvel and DC don't see those kickbacks, don't get the benefit of creating a character, which, you know, for me, like, I think, like, why even, you know, like, I see why a lot of creators go the independent route, because, you know, if you happen to create a big independent comic that, you know, people want to buy and make movie rights to, I mean, like, look at Robert Kirkman, Invincible, The Walking Dead, Outcast, like, a lot of his stuff was turned into TV shows, cartoons, and other things, and video games and stuff like that. So, like, you know, everyone wants to go the Robert Kirkman route, or hopefully be the Robert Kirkman and like be able to monetize their creations and make a really good livelihood. But with Marvel and DC, that's not the case, because you don't own the rights to those characters. And so you would think like the company would be like, hey man, like, yeah, we're gonna make a movie out of your character, like starring your character, and you know what, hey, if it makes like X million dollars, we'll give you like, I don't know, like $10,000. Like, for every $1 million it makes, we'll give you 10 grand or something like that. But I don't know, man. And like I said, I think it plays into a bigger issue, but it just kind of sucks, dude. Like, it like her interview only just kind of reminds me of just how bad things can be, dude. Like, it just sucks. Moving on to things that suck less, or don't suck. The new trailer for Avatar Season 2, the live action Avatar Season 2 just dropped, and we got to see our first look at our favorite earthbender, Toph. I'm really excited for this. Netflix, like I said, has been doing a pretty damn good job with their live actions and just with like program in general, but with their new live actions, I know things are really rocky there, especially what Death Note was awful. Cowboy Bebop was very, I wanted to like it. I really, really wanted to like Cowboy Bebop, but there were just some things that really took me out of it, and I couldn't finish it because of those things. But with Avatar The Last Airbender, it looked like, you know, they had fixed some things and things were looking pretty good. And then you knock into One Piece, and One Piece is absolutely fantastic. So then I'm excited to see, you know, them continue the success that they've been doing, and their story that they've been telling with Avatar The Last Airbender has been really fantastic. And based on this new trailer that we saw, I really like what's going to happen. I love the way earthbending looks and the way Toph's character looks and how she bends. You know, that was like one of my biggest pet peeves from like the live action movie that we first got from M. Night Shyamalan, is like the bending and like the earth, wind, and fire, like all those bendings, they look silly. Like, I'm always distracted by the earthbending scene where they're like doing some stupid little dance and everything's like slowly moving. Like, it just looks so bad. And because there's no sense of, not urgency, but like it's not fluid, it's not good, it's not, there's no weight to what they're doing. Whereas in the new live action, like when you see them bend and you see them move things and elements, it feels like there's real weight behind it. It feels like there's real martial arts behind it, which is really great for Netflix. Not for M. Night Shyamalan's version, but for the new version. Anyway, moving on to the last bit of nerd news that I wanted to cover for you guys today. The makers of Call of Duty, you know, that game that's been going on since I was a freshman in I was probably a junior. No, okay, Call of Duty has been around for a while. Modern Warfare didn't come out until I was like a junior in high school. Like the first Modern Warfare. All right, listen, kids. There was a Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. This was before the Modern Warfare games became a thing, before Black Ops and all that. But you had Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, and then Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, which brought it from World War II games to modern, like, hey, this is what's happening overseas right now kind of shit. And so since then, we've had like, who knows what, like 7 or 8 Modern Warfares, 20 Black Ops, and like all kinds of stupid shit, right? And it, like, hell, they've been putting out games like Madden puts out football, right? Like, there's been almost like a Modern Warfare back-to-back years for like the last 3 years or something like that. And then like Black Ops is the same. They put out like multiple Black Ops games in the span of a few years. Like, that's crazy to me. That's insane. You lose something when you do that. Like with Madden, like, you lose things when you're just like, oh yeah, we tweaked this and made this just a little bit better, but like at the same time, you're asking me to pay $60 and now $70 for a new game where maybe, yeah, the graphics are a bit better and you changed one thing. Like, it's just insane. So, well, Call of Duty now is decided, like, look, all right, we get it. We've been like pumping these things out like friggin' litter of kittens, and we need to scale back. They're doing the Marvel thing. They were putting out way too much content. Now they're like, we need to scale back, make it a little more exclusive, get people excited again, and then then things will be great. Things will be good. I don't know, but we'll see. Honestly, I haven't been excited or interested in a Call of Duty game since God knows when. I think the last one that I've genuinely played was World at War, when they went back to World War II. No, I did play a Black Ops game. I know I played one Black Ops game, but probably the first one that they did. But after that, it was just kind of like, meh, what am I doing? I don't know. But yeah, so that's really it for the Nifty Nerd News, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in so far. If you're ready for maybe some potential spoilers for the new Wicked movie, stick around, because we're going to talk about my thoughts on that next. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to the final part of the Bry-Fy podcast. What is this, episode 148? I don't know if I said it or not. It's either 148 or 149. I think it's 148. But, so yeah, we're going to talk about Wicked for Good. My wife and I went to go watch a movie. I knew what movie she wanted to go watch, and honestly, I was kind of like, I don't know, this could be really good, because I did enjoy the first movie, but I did have an idea of like some of the music that I was walking into, right? With Wicked for Good, the second half, I wasn't really like, honestly, I hadn't even heard shit on TikTok about this movie, and so like, whereas like going into movie 1, there's a lot of TikTok buzz behind it and things like that. Coming into movie 2, wasn't really so much, at least musically wise. And so I kind of was really going into this version blind. And so I was kind of worried, like, how is it going to play out? And, seeing things happen, of course, the Wicked Witch of the West, or Elphaba, which is her real name. And then you have Glinda, or I can't remember if her real name's Galinda or Glinda, who is, the good witch that we all see, who always wears pink, flies in a bubble and stuff. Things are really strained after the first movie, where they've gone their separate ways, because Elphaba finds out that the Wizard of Oz is not who he appears to be, and like, she's not gonna be able to make real change for good. And she's seen a lot of things, like animal cruelty or slavery, and just, really, really bad things are happening in Oz, and she does not want to be a part of it, and she wants to try to fix it. And it's going to be bad, She's basically, like the Rebel Alliance going up against the Empire, except she's the only person in the Rebel Alliance. So yeah, kind of sucks. And she's got a guy that she really likes, but, he can't really leave that. Well, the second movie addresses all this. And basically, people are picking sides and things are going to a head, and you can't really have like a big war scene what happens with the second movie, because we already know what happens in The Wizard of Oz, and Wicked doesn't write a new story for The Wizard of Oz, and it's very apparent in the second movie. You see where this now ties into the original movie that we've seen in theaters, that you grew up on as a kid. And so we know there's going to be a lion, a scarecrow, and a Tin Man. They're going to team up with Dorothy, and they're going to go and they're going to kill the witch. Oh, crap, that's a thing. We need to see what happens there, right? What the second movie does really awesome in the second part of Wicked is it gives us an answer to how do we get the Scarecrow? How do we get the Tin Man? How do we get well, we kind of already know. Like, the Cowardly Lion was already there, right? But, how they come together, how they become who they are, because there are characters that you see that are a part of the Wicked movie and musical that turn into these characters. Like, Elphaba's love interest becomes the Scarecrow because he basically turns against the Kingdom of Oz to help protect Elphaba and help her escape. And in that, they're going to torture and kill him, but Elphaba tries to save him with magic so that he won't feel pain and won't die. Which, hey, what's the best way to not feel pain? You make his body no bones and stuff and fill him with straw, so he turns into a Scarecrow. Like the Tin Man is one guy, his name's Bach, who Elphaba's sister, Nessa, really loves him, and he doesn't love her, and he wants to be rid of her. He wants to go. He loves Glinda, and he wants to be with Glinda, but Nessa, in a spur of anger and spontaneous anger, accidentally turns him into the Tin Man when she's like, I just want his heart to belong to me. It actually ends up shrinking his heart somehow because, the Book of Grimoires, the Book of Magic, doesn't really always do things the way you want it to. You got to really understand what you're doing. And so since she didn't really, she wasn't like a trained professional witch, is about to kill Bach. And so Elphaba steps in to make his body of tin and everything. And it's really sad how that plays out too, because her sister then kind of like turns on her and like blames her for this when it was clearly her fault that the Tin Man turns out the way that he turns out. So yeah, there's things like that. And so, but like the rest of it you get a new twist on like what happens. Does Elphaba really die at the hands of Dorothy with water and everything? And as it turns out, no, spoiler alert, that's not how it happens. And the Scarecrow, he actually remembers who Elphaba is and that they're in love and things like that. And so it's kind of weird, it kind of, parts of it don't really match up very well with the original story of The Wizard of Oz. But, like, you see the connections and it's enough to be like, oh, that's really cool, But it's not like a one-for-one, like a one-for-one mesh up where it like fits perfectly, because there's like a scene in there where we know in the OG movie Elphaba confronts Dorothy to her face after her sister is killed, but that doesn't happen that way in the Wicked movie, right? So there are a few subtle differences that don't really take away from the movie, but if you're like one of the sticklers like, well, this is how it happens in the original, you gotta also remember that they do like take parts of how the book goes to write their Wicked story. So like it's kind of a mesh between the OG movie and the book to how they got to where they get. Now, as far as my thoughts on everything, I will say, and I kind of alluded to it in the beginning, the music for me wasn't really all that exciting in this movie. Like, I feel like all the good music was used up in the first movie, and all like the real bangers were used up in the first movie, But that being said, I felt like the story was just way more interesting in the second movie. Like the events that were taking place and how everything was happening, I just had me way more interested in the characters, way more interested in the story. And so to me, musically, I could have probably cared less, honestly. And it sounds mean, I know, but story-driven wise, this was just way exciting. I was way invested in the characters and what they were doing. The story of Glinda and Elphaba and their friendship and falling out and love for each other was just really fascinating and really exciting. And getting to see that play out, was really cool. Was the ending exactly what I wanted? No, but it was still, I think, an ending that gave a send-off for these characters, But yeah, ultimately, I did enjoy it. I don't think it was better than the first movie, but it was a good movie, had a decent send-off, and I really enjoyed the story. Like, I was really invested in these characters, and I didn't realize how invested I was in these characters until I realized, like, I was sitting up in my seat waiting to see what the hell was going to happen. But, man, that's it, dude. That's what I wanted to talk about and share with you guys, and hopefully you enjoyed it, and everything is going good for you. Of course, it is the holidays, so I will try to put out as many episodes that I can for you guys, but I can't make promises because I'm going to be busy. I got a Christmas shop, got to wrap gifts, got to get ready. I got a card, well, it's a market days where I'm going to be vending cards at, so, I got to get ready and prep for that. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast, and we will see you guys later. Bry-Fy out.